everyone, my name is Jenny. It's time for another Site Review Sunday, and in today's video I'm reviewing this National Forest campsite. Stay tuned! This campsite we chose to stay in is located in Bulldog Canyon, and we are at access number 3. In order to get here, we actually followed directions from the Tonto National Forest's website on the 3 different access gates for this area. Now, in order to camp here, you actually do need a permit that you can get from the Mesa Ranger District, which is about 30 minutes from here. And you're going to want to make sure you have that permit on you, because if you don't have a permit on you when a forest ranger pulls up and asks to see it, not only will they ask you to leave, but they will also give you a fine for that. Even though we use the Tonto National Forest's website in order to get step-by-step directions to this campsite, it was a little cumbersome. So what I have also done for you guys is on my blog post, whose link you can find in the description below, as well as the link to the Tonto National Forest's website is also in the description below. On my blog post, I've created an interactive map, and on that map I have pinned all 3 access gates so that you can get Google Maps directions. If you click on one of those pins, you can click get directions right under it, and then Google Maps will give you turn-by-turn directions directly out here. And I have also included a pin for the Mesa Ranger Station, as well as Lost Dutchman State Park, which are both key points that I'm going to talk about here in just a minute. Using Google Maps to get here made it really easy to find this access gate. However, the road conditions to get here are really good until right before the gate. Right before the gate, it is really rutted, and there are big potholes right in front of the gate. But once you get past the gate, it's not too bad. This road where all the campsites are off of is actually pretty good, considering that it's mostly used as an off-roading road. Once we found this campsite here at access number 3, we actually didn't even check out access number 2 or access number 1, which I believe both offer camping opportunities as well. Here off of access number 3, there are only about 4 or 5 campsites that are big enough for anything like a trailer to camp in. Our campsite is relatively big, and then there are a couple big-ish campsites as well, but for the most part, all of the camping besides those couple of sites out here are high clearance, 4-wheel drive, accessible only, or you have to hike to them. If that's the kind of camping that you want to do, then there are plenty of opportunities out here. There are so many 4x4 trails out here in order to go deep into the National Forest and find a nice campsite for you. Of the few campsites that are large enough for a rig, there are only 3, maybe 4 that are big enough for, like, let's say a big motorhome. And if all of those sites are full, there is nowhere to turn around for you. So if you're going to be coming in here and dry camping or boondocking with a big rig of some sort, then you can drop your rig at the access gate. There's a little parking lot right there, and you can drop it right there and come in and scope out. But just know that if you decide that you don't want to camp here, it's fine. The permit for this area is actually free. So it's really nice, but you do have to have it on you, and on that permit it actually gives you a gate code. There's a lock on every single one of the access gates, and you have to put in a code, and that's the only way that you can open the gate. For the most part, the campsites out here are not level. We had to do quite a bit of leveling on our rig, and we found the most level spot we possibly could in our campsite. The rest of the campsites here are all also pretty unlevel, but it's not anything that you couldn't get level if you really needed to. Now, unlike most National Forest campsites we've stayed in, this is the first one we've ever been to that required a permit in order to get into the area. And I believe that the reason that they're doing that is because this area is completely packed. The area here is mostly used for off-roading. There are just a few campsites, but mostly people come out here to go horseback riding, off-roading, and hiking. And it is incredibly busy. Even some of the areas that I would think probably used to be a campsite have turned into staging areas where it's completely rutted out. There's no way you can camp there now. It would be way too uncomfortable to try and level a rig there with all of the divots and ruts in the area, but some of the campsites here are still really nice. Even though you're required to get a permit to camp here, it is still a 14-day camping limit like most National Forest campsites. However, unlike most National Forest campsites, the rangers here do actually patrol every day or every other day, so if you overstay your welcome, they will fine you and kick you out. If you're going to be staying in the area for more than 14 days, what you can do is you can camp here for 14 days and then move to outside of the Tonto National Forest for 30 days and then you can come back in. But you're only allowed to camp for 14 days and then you must be gone for at least 30 and then you can camp again for another 14 days. While camped here, we haven't needed to use a signal booster of any sort because we have had 1 to 3 bars of Verizon 4G LTE coverage the entire time. So far, every campsite that we've come across has had a stone fire ring of some sort, sometimes more than one if it's a really big campsite. And we were able to find water at Lost Dutchman State Park for $7 during the week and $10 during the weekends. Now, their dump station is closed, so if you're needing to dump, you're going to want to go to the Chevron in Mesa, Arizona. The dump station at the Chevron in Mesa, Arizona is $15 if you don't buy fuel, or it's $10 if you do buy fuel. Some of the pros of camping here include being very close to tons of activities. Not only can you off-road here, but you can hike here and horseback ride. You can also backpack all the way out and go camping out there if you want to too. It's also really close to Apache Junction, so running into town isn't too big of a chore. It only takes us 20 to 25 minutes or so to get to the nearest Walmart. If you have the ability to go off-roading, we highly recommend it. This is an amazing area to off-road, go horseback riding, go hiking, and we have seen non-stop people hanging out around here, riding around, just having an absolute blast. It looks like a ton of fun, and this area is huge, so there are so many different trails to go on. And that's just at this access point. There are 2 other access points that we didn't even check out. And I guarantee those also have awesome off-roading opportunities. We have also had excellent luck with solar here. Not only are we just outside of Phoenix, meaning that it's sunny almost every single day, but there aren't big trees in the way, meaning that our solar panels get sun literally all day long. Another really nice pro of camping here is the ability to drop your rig. Normally, there isn't an access gate in front of National Forest camping areas, which means that you can just drive in, find a campsite, drop there, and then find a bigger campsite or a better campsite that you want to stay in. But here, luckily, there's that nice little parking area right in front of the gate, meaning you don't have to drag your rig really very far in at all in order to go and try and find a site first. The last thing I can think of as a pro of camping here is that because it requires a permit, it's probably not quite as busy as other areas that don't require permits. Some of the cons of camping here include that it is really busy here. Even during the week, there are always people out here exploring around. And there are tons of cacti around here. The cholla here are insane. These are the biggest, tallest cholla we have ever seen. They're basically trees. Also, it's relatively warm here all year round, meaning that rattlesnakes and scorpions and tarantula are going to be out nearly all year long. Also, if the last campsite here is taken, then there is nowhere to turn around. So the last thing you want to do here is drag your rig in without scoping it out first. And not only is it really busy here, but you can see almost all of your neighbors. The campsites aren't super spread out, and because there aren't big trees, you can see all of the neighbors that are camped around you. So if you're wanting a secluded spot, this might not be the best option for you. This area being really close to Apache Junction meant that we were able to find literally everything that we needed really close by. Apache Junction offers everything for us. We had a Walmart, we had fuel, propane fill nearby, we had water at Lost Dutchman State Park, we had a dump station nearby. All of these things are going to be listed and available for you to get direct directions to in my blog post on my interactive map. When coming out to camp here, keep in mind that you should always pack out what you pack in. Don't leave trash behind in your campsites. This is a really busy area, meaning people do tend to leave some trash behind, even if it's just a little bit in the fire rings. And I know it can be frustrating for some of you, but if you are at a campsite and you find trash in your site, it is best to pick it up and take it out with you, because we have been to places that aren't even this busy that have been shut down because people have abused that and haven't packed out their trash, and the National Forest or BLM management areas just didn't want to deal with people being in the area and trashing it all the time. If you love the National Forest, National Park, free land to camp on like BLM land as much as we do, then maybe it is best to pick up after your neighbors, even if it can be really frustrating to do that. It's also really important to pick up your dog's feces if you have a dog, and it's really, really important to keep your dog on a leash here. We have not let Sweetie outside at all whatsoever off leash, even to use the bathroom, because there are just cholla everywhere, and the little segments that fall off and blow around, they're really dangerous and really painful for us. So I know that whenever Sweetie has ever gotten stuck with one, that it's really painful for her. And even though she's been kept on a leash earlier today, even when David went out with her, he got a little too close to a cholla and got one on his leg. So just be super, super careful out here and keep your dogs on leashes too. Also, try and be courteous of your neighbors. Even though there are no posted or listed quiet hours of the area, it is very courteous, because your neighbors are kind of close by here, to run your generator as if there were generator hours. So turn it off around 10 p.m. and don't turn it back on before 6. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching my campsite review of Bulldog Canyon here in the Tonto National Forest, access number 3. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!